Hello everyone, I am Tessellating Hexagons. This is Yoshi's Crafted World, and I'm just now seeing these missions for the first time. So this episode is going to be basically a boss rush where I try to get all of the flowers for doing these bonus missions, and at least there's no indication that I need to do them all in one run. And I'm wearing the Great King Bowser armor. I say armor, it's a costume. Hopefully that will not count as damage if I get damaged by it. Okay, good start. Oh, coins! I've not been able to collect those in many an episode. Well, we've not taken damage so far and we're going rather swiftly, so bring me a magnet such that I might magnetize to your face. You see, if I were smart, I would have taken the time between recordings. I'm recording this straight after the previous episode. I would have taken the time to just go back and just review the episodes where I first fought these bosses to just get an idea of how the bosses work. Oh, you went down a pipe. Which pipe did you go down? Oh, there's paper planes. More like paper panes, am I right? Well, wait, where did... Wait, I ate a mouse, I didn't get an egg for it, and then the other one vanished. So suddenly, I'm thinking that perhaps... Oh, where are you going? Come back here. Thank you. Right, so I'm going to need to... That did not count. Disappointing. I need your face to be red so that I can attach a magnet to you and win accordingly. At this point, I don't think I'm even getting the time bonus one because I flubbed up the initial get magnet moment. Please. I wouldn't even know how to go about speeding this up. Yeah, I think we're not getting the bonus flower this time around. That's fine. I can do various cutting shenanigans to make the video be more watchable. It's okay. For now, I'll just avoid your eggs. Bouncy! This is like seeing all of these for the first time. And one point that I didn't make in the... No? No! Come back here! I have frustration. Well, at least... Okay, I can't hit you? I saw I had more eggs than that. It's like seeing these bosses for the first time. I forget if I finished that thought. The other thought I was going to say in the previous episode and never actually got around to it was, this is a good game. Oh, come now. I was hoping to throw straight upwards and have that count as a hit while face red. Well, on the plus side, at least this means I can grind up coins, because apparently I need those for something, I just don't remember what. Well, we didn't take any damage, costumarily or otherwise, so that's a promising start, bearing in mind, you know, going in effectively blind, well, not literally, because I did it 3 years ago, but, I guess I'll just do this again and hope for a better result? Well, I got the red face magnet thing that time, but yeah, I think attaching magnet while face red is sort of a necessity for getting complete within 1 minute 25. At least I did better this time. Take 3! Out by half a second because I screwed it up in the first phase. But at least I'm grinding coins. Hello, Tess in Post here. My plans for this episode changed rather rapidly once I got to editing, and I'll try not to say anything redundant because, like, half of this video is live commentated and half of it is post-commentated, but this... Attempt 22 was my successful attempt. Long and short of it is, a lot of this boss is time wasting, and the only thing you can do to mitigate that is to get good with throwing the magnets, and literally the only advice that I have for that is you need to sort of you need to spit out the magnet a lot earlier than you think you need to. Case in point, right there. I spat out the magnet, and Tin-Can Condor wasn't even on screen, and that counted, and it's... If you mess up even once, look at all of the nothing burger you have to sit through just to get another shot at it. And if you think... It's almost worse if you're not sure if your second out of 3 hits is good enough, because you won't actually find out until you get to lock in your third hit, and there's so much chaff in between, and it's a nuisance. But luckily, things do get better. For most of this video. I'll check back in on that little subject later, but anyway, for the final hit, yeah, you need to get good to a fault. Oh my giddy goodness, I don't even want to know how many attempts that took, but like that's not hard, it's just tedious, because you have a very small window in which to hit the boss, and its attacks in between those windows take up so much time. That was like, that was a perfect run as well. It's amazing what practice can do, but oh my goodness, that was not fun. And like, not in a, oh, I need to get good way, just in a, wow, this is really tedious, because every attempt, I have to do the first cycle perfectly, do a perfect counterattack, wait in between, and then wait for my opportunity to do the next one. At least we get twirly woos, so it's something.
You cleared all the Tin-Can Condor boss challenges.
I certainly did, buddy. Okay, what pain in the neck is up pain in the next? I barely remember. I want to say it's the train. Is it the train? It's not the train. Fine, I don't care. I'll do them in any order. I'm gonna be here all bloody night. I'm probably gonna do this across multiple recording sessions, but... 123.
So how bad can it be?
And also break ivies. I'm not sure I've ever seen the word ivy spelled plurally like that. Well, now I can. And... as per the usuals... Where are you going? Okay, I aimed upwards like twice, and the game just sort of ignored it, so that was cool. I'm gonna retry, because I know this may as well be my practice round, because there's no way I'm gonna get, like, within the time limit on my first try, but I may as well practice. So, as has been established, I don't very well remember, like, what these bosses involve, but, you know, there we go, that's one hit down already. Now, what do you mean by ivies? These look like ivies. Okay, there we go, that's that achieved. Not taken damage yet, which is promising. And now we just need... what's... The importance of practice, ladles and gentle soups. I need egg. Thank you for egg. Bounce. They bounce. They've gone to the bounce lounge. That's something else that happened in between most of this series and the most recent episodes. I got into the fandom for Star versus the Forces of Evil. Well, I wouldn't say fandom necessarily, just I watched the entire series and very much enjoyed it. Now then. Would it be too much to ask to hit you during this phase? It seems so. That's alright, I have spare eggs. I just need to hope that you, produce more fruit that I can knock down with my eggs, because this seems like another time-wasty situation. Oh! Wow, okay, that is strict. Like, I had to get right in the... Like, I didn't know whether it was going to spawn more things above or I needed to hit it in the face, and I think I could have almost had that, but I have no eggs, so... But, oh, really? Really? You're gonna do me like that? I disapprove. I disprove your existence. Well, at least we got one of the Achievy Weavies, and once again I'm grinding up Kern. Okay, well, this feels more doable than the first one. And I did the first one, so hopefully this will take fewer attempts. Hopefully. Why are the time limits so strict? Like, just 5 more seconds and it would be a fair challenge, but so strict. I don't see how I could have done that any faster. Like, I had to shave an entire 1.25 off that, and I legitimately do not see how. I don't get it. Is there some other opportunity to counterattack that I'm just not seeing? I mean, hey, at least that's that knocked out, but like, Tin-Can Condor, I at least understood what it wanted from me. This time around, I don't know what it expects me to do. Hello, it's Tessellating again, and mercifully, this one was a lot less of a hassle. Like, this time around, all I had to do was figure out what I was doing wrong, and there is some time-wasty chaff in this boss, but it's a lot more forgiving in the sense that there is something you can do about it, and doing something about it is what, you know, that's the puzzle. Whereas with Tin-Can Condor, which I'm still salty about, it's just, oh, you can't do anything about it, I'm gonna waste your time. Anyway, aim for whichever one of these is not spitting stuff out, because once it's started spitting, it's committed to spitting. So if you're too late in hitting whichever Ivy is spitting stuff out, then you've not saved any time whatsoever, and you've wasted an egg in so doing. By the way, the thing that I broke in order to start this whole thread of conversation and save all that time, that counts as an Ivy to break for the Break 2 Ivies bonus mission as well. So these things are seeing now, the Toho bullet hell situation, they count as Ivies, and so do those two side things that are long since disappeared by now. And I think it's a little bit tight here as well, where you have to just perfectly time it, smack that, there you go, Bob's your uncle. Well, that wasn't so bad. I just had to figure out the trick to it, which, like, with Tin-Can Condor, it was just get good at firing the magnet at the right time, whereas with this, the actual puzzle to solve is when there's the two Ivies on either side, if you destroy one of those, that interrupts the tedious, time-wasty attacks. You can just move on with your life. So that felt like a slightly more fun challenge. Nevertheless, I have been here for nearly 40 minutes just on these two bosses alone, so I think I'm gonna split this over multiple recording sessions. So, oh, first of all, a celebration of twirly-woos and fun times. What have you to say?
You cleared all the spike Piranha boss challenges.
That I did. I certainly doof. Burt's Bouncy battle. Okay, so I guess I'll see you in just a moment for this nonsense. Okay, it is a new day, and I'm post-commentating all of this because, to spare my sanity, I recorded the rest of the bosses just in pure concentration mode. And you know what? I'm not going to spoil too much, but I think it paid off. That being said, mercifully, Burt's Bouncy boss battle bus situation, and to an extent Gator Train, but we'll get to that in a moment, are much more forgiving than the first two and the last one. So, sort of pro tips for here. If you stand on the far left for this first wave of beach balls and the far right for the second, then you'll be fine, because, as you can see, all but one lane doesn't attack for each one. You're going to want to have a bumpty in your mouth for this, so that you can hit Burt in the back. One thing that I sort of forgot about is the way the platform tips. If you fall into the water, then guess what? That counts as losing health, and you've screwed yourself out of the perfect run bonus situation. But it's fine, that's not happened on recording, so as far as you know, I'm not speaking from experience. But yeah, just try not to bad. Generally speaking, just as long as you don't mess up in grabbing the bumpties and, you know, countering accordingly, and not getting caught on a... yeah. For the most part, this one isn't that difficult. Which is weird, because this is... it's the third boss if you're going by the order that they're listed in the main menu, but yeah, well, I did it, and as far as you know, it was one attempt. I think it was, like, one attempt and one false start. So there you go. With all 5.5 seconds to spare. Why want the first two time limits like that? Is it so much to ask that things are just only the regular amount of challenging? Well, whatever, we get more twirly-woos. Go on, say the thing. I know you're dying to.
You cleared all the Burt's Bouncy battle boss challenges.
Yes, I can. And, yeah, that was fairly straightforward, and now we can move on to Chapter 4, Gator Train Attacks. It's a good thing I don't need help with this, otherwise I'd need Gator Aid. I'll see myself out. Now, similarly, I don't have much to add to this conversation other than I had forgotten, but during this phase, now I'm really showing my father's genes here, but the boss does n-1 fake-outs, where n is the phase of the battle you're in, and the phase of the battle you're in is determined by how many hits you've done. That is to say, if you've not hit him at all yet, he does no fake-outs. In round 2, which is what we're in now, he goes in for a bite, fakes you out, and then goes in for another bite, and then for round 3, he does 2 fake-outs. I think of things in terms of maths. Now, the big sort of trick thing here is, if you take out both of those, that counts as there's one fake out and there's the real thing. Taking out those alarms is a smiley flower in of itself, but also that skips the platforming barricade section, which saves you so much time, and is a necessity for winning within the time limit. Now, I believe the first time the train does this attack, it's in a preset order, but the second time, he does actually aim for you. I apologize for assuming this train's pronouns. I don't actually remember what basis that is on. Now, yep, I kind of screwed myself out of... I was too enthusiastic there. I was all guns blazing, all eggs yeeting, just trying to get this over with in the time limit, and I ended up getting got. And I got again. So... you have to deal with 2 fake-outs and watch for rolling rocks, that is to say pencils. But on the whole, even with those little mistakes at the end, it still feels doable. And I don't remember offhand what the time limit for this is. No matter what, I'm showing this to show that I'm locking in, hey, I did the break 2 or more alarms, and oh, you know what? Even with those mistakes, I was only over by just under half a second. That, I think, is a sign of a good level of challenge here, so I'll leave all this in just to show what it looks like to actually get it perfect, because the recurring theme with these bosses is you kind of need to do the perfect run in order to get the time limit one anyway. So break 2 or more alarms in this, otherwise you're not going to be in a position to... oh, there you go, you can see he does the first carriage, the third, the second, and then the fourth, when he's getting rid of the orange carriages, but the blue carriages will actually activate for you. But yes. On the whole, the boss challenges I feel quite positively about, because they do feel like fair additions, like they are a fair increase in difficulty, but they're not impossible. It's not like, oh, you've got this smiley flower, it's proof you've done something unbelievable. It's, we've cranked up some optional difficulty, but it's still reasonable. There is a limit to me saying that, but we'll get to that in due course. Oh, the healing I had done over 3 years, I'd forgotten all about it, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Now, my main advice for this is just be quick, but don't be hasty in this final phase. This is one of those rare bosses where you actually get plenty of eggs to work with, but yeah. I don't think there's much you can do about the pencils, so just avoid them. And then don't forget that it does this. The first round are missiles, the second round are watch for rolling rocks, and you just sort of aim while dodging them and then throw. And that wasn't some fantastic aiming on my part. I was kind of rubbish there, but that was still very much within the sort of the target time frame. I don't even need to see the results to be confident of myself in that, but yeah. So 3-ish seconds under, it's like 2.25 seconds under, but that was with some sloppy aiming on my part. So this is what I mean when I say, for the most part, the challenges are a fair addition in difficulty. With Tin-Can Condor, it would be nice if there was, some extra thing you could do.
You played all the Gator train attacks, boss challenges.
Yes, I did. It'd be nice if there was something you could do to interrupt the time-wasty attacks, and that's what makes it not fit in. But whatever. Now, I will confess, for this point onwards, I did look up how other people did, I didn't even make any attempts until I looked up how other people did it, just to get an impression of, are there going to be any crazy secret strats I should be aware of? And for this boss, that answer is yes. The magic number for this boss is 5. You're going to want 5 eggs at any given time. That's 2 to take out the weapon on the left, 2 to take out the weapon on the right, and 1 to take out Bowser in the middle. but I'm not doing that right away because I only have one egg, and I was just singing the praises of the number 5, which child me would be absolute. Okay, side tangent. Child me hated the number 5 and loved the number 6. I thought 5 had too much self-importance to it. It was like, you numbers fit so neatly into you because our numbering system is built on base 10. You think you're so special. You're an odd number. You're not even that good. All praise to the number 6. And anyway, it may not look it, but jumping over those rockets, the window is surprisingly tight there. Once again, we could attack Bowser right now, but no. What we want is one more stock up of eggs to get us back up, well, technically up to 6, so 6 is the real winner here. That is to say, 2 eggs for the weapon on the left, 2 eggs for the weapon on the right, 1 to hit Bowser now, and 1 to hit Bowser next. So we need one more round of Shy Guys. As I said, I didn't come up with this strategy myself, but I dirtily sneeded it. I'm sorry, Tangerine got in the face, and yet I'm the one who's... You know, I'm getting my concussy slonked silly style. Anyway. Again, be concerned, because these things do attack faster than it looks like they ought to, and for this phase, you do a little bit of backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. But the important thing is, we have leftover eggs, so we can throw a bunch to one side, and I need more eggs than I do because I messed things up in the previous phase. But we can bank 1 egg on it now, it's fine. We can see this pattern of rockets, and that brings us up to the magic total. 1 more to hit that, 1 to hit Bows! And then we can spank him in the face, or, well, the navel, I suppose. Does it? Okay, for animals that don't have belly buttons, is it still called the navel? Because it is that general area. Now, the trick for this phase of the boss is, as you'll recall from the main game, which I certainly definitely did when I was recording this, the weapons that we counterattack with, your goal should be keeping those as fully stocked as you can, within reason. So, obviously you're going to need eggs in order to harvest those weapons in the first place. The other thing is, watch for the shadow on the floor. He'll only have a hammer, like, on the far left or the far right, so if you're in the middle, you should be fine. Next tip, just smack him once to get him out of that phase, just for the time being. We don't want to do the full hammer-thwacky combo just yet. We sort of need to balance using the hammers for the extra mission, using the hammers to do damage, and using the hammers to get him out of the slower, more time-consuming attacks. So we're in a good position now in that we've got 2 hammers intact, we can bonk him, and for this phase, we should now be good to just sort of have a whale of a time. Now, I recommend, and I don't actually practice what I preach here, but I recommend using the hammer on the left first, because once you've done a hammer combo like that, we get the meteor attack. They're not meteorites, game, they're meteors, and I believe the big one always falls on the right first, and the thing with this boss is you need to hit the big meteors back with the hammers, otherwise you're going to waste so much time. And this was my big mistake on this run. I was too enthusiastic in using that second hammer combo, because in order to do that final 4,000 arbitrary units of damage, we need a hammer on both sides of the thing here, because, well, you'll see in a minute. But because I did a hammer combo, we have this really slow, time-consuming meteor attack and no way of countering it. On the plus side, the big meteors do provide cover against the smaller ones, so there's that at least. Not that we're even eligible for the no damage thing on this one, but also, if you see the green fireballs, your run is dead in the water, if you're going for the runny speed times thing. Now, I suppose I should address this now. I did record several attempts of me going for the bonus missions on Kamek Kerfuffle. I forgot how awful that boss. Also, if you see this attack, your run is boned. Anyway, Kamek Kerfuffle is just the worst boss. Anyway, hit him to get him out of that phase, and then we'll try to hit him with this, and then he'll grab it, and that's why we need the other one, and we can do the combo with that, and then we're through, but we're well over time anyway. But yes, Kamek Kerfuffle. Doing the missions is not hard. Beating the boss in the first place is hard, and that's just because of how demanding the final phase is, where you have to be perfect. And I am 3 years out of practice, I forgot how difficult it was, but that's for me in the future to worry about. I'm just setting this up now just to say that I was going to do that in this video, and I'm not going to. Anyway, for the time being, we need to shave almost half a minute off that run, but that's okay, because I did that in literally my next attempt, which we're going to cut to now. And here we are. So this is what it looks like to actually do a perfect run of this boss, and it's the last perfect run you're going to see in this video. But that's okay, because this video is running long anyway. That's on me for biting off more than I can chew. So, to reiterate, make sure that you have, well, I would say 5, really 6 eggs at any given time, so that you can, destroy the thing on the left with 2 eggs, use 2 eggs to destroy the thing on the right. Have 1 egg on standby for the next time Bowser appears, and 1 on standby for the this time. And at the moment we only have 1, now we have 2, but we'd like to stock up for future egg situations, so there you go. And that leaves us with... Yeah, I suppose what I was saying about 5 eggs, kind of a non-statement. We need 6, really, because we have, as I said, we have the 2 eggs to take out the next weapon on the left, 2 eggs to take out the next weapon on the right, and then 1 to get Bowser down to where we can attack him, but then what can we do after that? We need eggs to be... Basically, the theme here is proper prior preparation preventing piss-poor performance. That's a lot of pee! You need to prepare your pee! I will stop talking. But the point is, for the most part, this game isn't unreasonable with these challenges. I think their bark is worse than their bite. They are very intimidating, and I would say in a good way. They're not brutally unforgiving. They do add an extra amount of challenge that it feels like a fair additional challenge. Also, don't run after the coins unless you're absolutely certain you can get them without getting hit, if you're doing a perfect run. And remember, okay, if your costume takes damage, that does count as taking damage, but you're never under any obligation to do the no-hit run and the timed run in the same run. You can take as many separate attempts as you need. There is no bonus for doing everything in one run. It's just that the bonus extra mission, like in this case, hit the meteor with the hammer, that's usually required for getting the timed mission anyway. Now, the 2 exceptions to what I was saying are Tin-Can Condor, because of all the stuff I've already ranted about, and Kubek Kerfuffle, because the final phase of that can eat my legs. I'll have to deal with it eventually, but I'm going to procrastinate that as hard as I possibly can. You may recall that the final phase of that involves Go-Go Yoshi and punching a load of oncoming projectiles, and you have to be absolutely perfect with, like... The margin for error is even slimmer than it is when you're just fighting the boss regular styley, because if you have to... Because it's like, oh, here are the oncoming projectiles, hit all of them perfectly, otherwise it doesn't count. And rather than the standard window of, oh, you're allowed to make a mistake 3 times because of your health meter, you can't make any mistakes at all, because otherwise you've burned through your allotted time. Anyway, here's me not practicing what I preach. Really, at this juncture, you should use the hammer on the left and not the hammer on the right, because, as I said, doing the combo summons the rain of meteors, and the first big one falls on the right, so you'd want to really counter that to save the most time, but as it turns out, the game is at least forgiving enough that as long as you hit one of those 2 meteors first, and you don't make that mistake later on, then you should be good. But yes, this time I'm not making any mistakes. Let's not do the combo quite so eagerly just yet. Also, it feels like you can lick just about anywhere on those gold stars, and that counts as you getting the Shy Guy off them, so... Anyway, first of all, put that in place, bonk you to stop you doing that attack, and now we can just go all in on the smackety-wackety, stab him with a fist, meet a fist! And then restock the thing we just used, make preparations because it's, once again, back at it again at Meteor Herd, ready to go all space age, etc. Get bonked, and then get ready for the sort of the, this is when quickness is needed. Bonk him once to get him back into position, bonk him again so he'll start grabbing at that, which leaves him wide open to the final combo, and as you can see, clocking in at 4 minutes and 24 seconds and 0.07 further seconds, all one word, further seconds, we're done well within the time limit, and that should be the hardest thing completed. And it's not. But that's for future me to worry about. For the time being, I have been, or will continue to be, tessellating hexagons. In the next episode, I think we're just going to do more souvenir hunting. Anything to put off having to deal with Kamek. So, just to close things out on the note of Shadowville, which I believe is the name of this area. Twirly-woos! They should be the hardest to get in the game, but they're not.
You cleared all the great king Bowser boss challenges.
And I will see you in the next episode to take a vacation from the pain-tion.